Yes, so I just built this little space mouse. Actually working on the cap for it right now. Oh, this is a little TPU sleeve I just made for it. I'm gonna kind of steal the design that was there before, but yeah, this thing actually works pretty good, believe it or not. So yeah, I don't know if I would actually buy one of these for $200, but for $30, this bitch is sweet. So the buttons change the views. That's the side view. That's whatever view that is. The other side view, and that's the top view. So, oh, change, change. Well, whatever. It's the other side, and then the top. All right. So, I still gotta tune this some more, and this was the original design. I ended up making my own though. I don't really like these bar magnets. They didn't seem to sit over those sensors very evenly, in my opinion. And I don't know. I made my own plate, and I'll post a link to that too if I didn't say it already. My plate is better, I think. My plate's more precise, but yeah. And then I had to make my own knob because my plate is a little bit bigger. So I kind of took inspiration from this and just threw one together real quick. And now I'm designing the cap and printing it out right now. So when that's done, we'll see if that fits. It should though, but lo and behold, so here we are in FreeCAD. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little live demo. So I'm gonna start by tilting it this way. So this is gonna spin it around the Z-axis. I still gotta fine tune it a little bit more. Sometimes, I don't know, either that or I gotta fine tune myself. There's sometimes when I'm doing these rotations like this where it thinks I'm, yeah, see, like that, where it thinks I'm zooming up when I'm not. I think it's kind of me though. I think I just gotta learn how to do it. Cause look, when I do it that way, it doesn't do that. It's probably just my learning curve ain't there yet. But yeah, and then the other thing is, if you look inside here, I don't know if you can see, but there's these springs right here. Those are TPU, so that's the same material as this. And this is flexible filament. You know what I mean? But it's really strong, and it works for this. But one of the downsides of it is, you know, that it does, when you torque it, it will equal itself out. You know, it'll even itself out. So sometimes when you're twisting on this knob, if you go too hard, that's, like I said, I gotta tweak it a little more so that I don't have to put as much motion to get things done. You know what I'm saying? If you tweak it too hard, it is gonna twist and torque up and start pulling. So, all right. So anyway, with that being said, so yeah, so you rotate. We have rotation. I have the ability, if I push up or push on it, it raises it up. If I go this way and push on it, it moves it down. So there you go. And then we can pan side to side here, like so, which is pretty cool. And then, so we're gonna rotate. Then we have this rotation. If I pull back on it, it rotates. If I push forward on it, it rotates. And if I push down on it, as you can see, it zooms out. And if I pull up on it, it zooms in. So yeah, it works as intended. The only thing is, if it's like, all right, so this is one thing I noticed. You have something called a dead zone that needs to be set. Mine is actually really good. However, if I do like a really big torque motion like this, now watch this. Because the TPU springs are still kind of equalizing themselves, so you get a slight bit of motion sometimes after these movements if you do real big ones. But for the most part, when I'm doing this kind of stuff though, it's just small ones like this, and you don't get anything. You see how that box disappears? The box only appears when it detects motion. And I mean, I'm barely touching it. So in real life, okay, you know, you're modeling this, click, click, blah, blah, blah. All right, so that's all good. Everything appears to be good. I've used it for that. And one thing I noticed that helps, I have this program called Xmouse, and Xmouse hijacks your mouse buttons pretty much because FreeCAD won't let you do it. So one thing, I got one hand on the phone right now, so I can't actually do it, but I can show you though. So let's just look at it like this. So we have, I don't know, we'll use this one. This is a good example because it's nice and clear. So you have this edge here and this edge here. In FreeCAD, when you click the edge and you click the other edge, it doesn't, you can't multi-select edges, so you normally have to hit Control. Now that would be a problem with this mouse right here because you've got one hand taken up. So what I did was I bound this key on the mouse right here, so when I click it, it emulates Control now. See how I got both lines selected? And then when I click it off, now it's not Control anymore. So just to show you too, is if you hold Control and click the mouse wheel, it zooms. See? I'm not even holding it. Now watch this. Click it off, and now we're back to rotate. So stuff like that is helpful too, I noticed. So when I'm sitting here zooming around, you know what I'm saying, I gotta click multiple edges or whatever, I just hit that, boom, boom, and done. You know what I mean? And yeah, that was definitely a time saver. So I got another cool use for this. So I got the slicer, which this, I don't know, this kind of sucks, honestly. I'm a lot better with the mouse. It works in the slicer though, you know, but I wouldn't use that for the slicer. This is too easy to use on its own. Look, this is the mouse. You tilt. Slicer is better with that. Blender is a mess. I don't know, but I don't use Blender like that, so it's kind of difficult for me to call it. But I did find a really cool use for this that I'm really feeling right now. So here, let me get off this and let's go to my backyard because I don't want to put nobody on Front Street. Alright, so I have these Reolink cameras here, these big old widescreen cameras. So check this out. I was like, oh, that's fucking sweet. Alright, so I can pan, you know, if I go this way or if I go that way, you know what I mean, just from scrolling. So I can actually use this in tandem, like pretty much like a, you know, damn fighter. I don't know, I feel like a surveillance operator or something. So one of the cool things is this thing zooms in and out no matter what you're on. Like if I go on a web page right now, for instance, here goes my my 3D printer page. So as you can see, if I tilt back, it scrolls down on the web page and scrolls up, you know what I mean? And this does this with anything like this where you can zoom in and out. But watch, yeah. So tilt the mouse over there with my right hand, zoom on in on that ass real quick. I got like my own little personal joystick controller for the camera hookup. That's so dope. Now watch, yeah. So I can move it over here, do this in unison too. It's a two-handed operation. Oh yeah. Oh, I see you. I see you, buddy. I see you. So yeah, man. That's pretty damn cool though. I thought that was pretty sweet. But yeah, this thing's pretty dope, man. A little bit confusing at times, but we're in there. And yeah, I like it a lot. I like it a lot for 30 bucks. I don't know if I would like this thing for 400, but 30 is cool, man. I can do 30. So, yep, that's my little review on the Spacemouse here from John Crombie and Andun HH with the code. You know what I'm saying? And appreciate you guys, because I definitely am happy that I spent this over that 200 bucks I was about to spend on a real one, for sure. This is definitely I don't know if I would use this in a production environment, but I would definitely use a real one for that, because a real one's going to definitely be more precise and more versatile, I think. You know, you'd be able to get some support if some shit didn't work right. But yeah, for home use and for somebody who just fucks around on CAD and 3D prints and does shit like I'm doing right now, you know what I mean, and stuff like that, this is definitely the way, man. Like, there's no way in hell I'd be spending any kind of real money on this right now. It's not that useful to me. It's like, honestly, um, you can tilt this bitch and do all that kind of stuff like that, right? But in reality, I can pan just like this with this mouse, and I can tilt like this with this mouse, and I can roll and all this kind of stuff with this mouse, you know what I'm saying? And I can use keys to do all the same shit, you know what I mean? Just what it is, you know? No, I ain't gonna lie, if you're doing a lot of shit though, like say I was doing an assembly where I had to fly through a whole fucking cruise ship or something, this is optimal for that kind of stuff. Or you just built a whole house in CAD and you need to go over every single piece of every floor. Obviously, this is the way, because this, you're gonna be click, 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 click. You know what I'm saying? But you know, when you're just making shit like say for this, for instance, the stupid cap that I just put together, like, dude, come on, man. Like, this right here is excessive for some shit like this. You know what I mean? It just isn't worth the money. So that's the answer to the question. But it is worth $30 if you got a couple minutes and you're not scared of a project real quick. You got a soldering iron and a couple, you know, M3 screws and shit laying around, or you're willing to go buy some, you know. This is definitely a cool project for $30. But like I said, would I recommend a Spacemouse for anything over this $30 unless you're a professional who absolutely needed it because you're working on such humongous shit that you can't, you know, you're going to get carpal tunnel using a mouse, you know what I mean? Sure, for them it's worth it. For just hobbyists and whatever, hell no. Do not spend that $100. Do this one instead.